There be an old maritime belief that a woman on a ship will get every man aboard killed, and apparently Ubisoft agrees.
They're on the boat. Thank you.
Excessive civilian casualties.
What?
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 These synchronized excessive civilian casualty. I haven't done anything.
Many such cases, Kata. There are many such cases, but apparently Ubisoft believes that old tradition on the seas that a woman aboard a ship will get every man killed, apparently. So it was just that easy. Now they set foot on that ship and every sailor on it died. Just like that. But we have more wonderful miracles here. As you can see, you can get launched across the map, clear from O.R.C.A all the way to the edge of the universe. As you can see right here, this player character is going ping right off the wall. Hit it so hard that they had to ricochet along the edge of the map and be launched into the ocean. So apparently, as you're going around, you find these places where they, apparently this is probably where they hung fish to dry, perhaps. And so this right here is a character being launched across the universe here. So this is definitely going to be meme proof. Oh yeah, this is nobody's going to make memes out of this. Not at all. Not a bit. But we're not done yet. We've got the O.R.C.A shish kebab scene that's going around. This is pretty cool. So I'm not going to play the music in the background. You can go check out this clip over at @mangalawyer over on x.com. The music in the background is has some African chanting going on. Now, this scene is supposed to represent O.R.C.A getting revenge on the killer of his mother, because the game about Sengoku era Japan has to have a final boss battle between an African slave and a Portuguese slaver. Yeah. Naoe gets a more traditional ending, but it's still pretty stilted what happens at her ending. But this is what happens for O.R.C.A, is that he has something that has nothing to do with Japan happen here. And apparently, all these next generation graphics, all of this processor upgrading that they've done with the game, well, you can have a big empty room to beat up one character inside of that can't even hit you. So there you go. And the shish kebabbing, it's hilarious. But it's gotten so bad that even PC Gamer has said, nuh-uh, we're not having that. It says here, Assassin's Creed Shadows has convinced me, that's the writer, that Ubisoft will never make a good RPG. Now, again, I'm not going to go into what they have to say here, but down below you can check out the article over on PC Gamer. They talk about the base building, all of the different customization things, and then they bring up the wonderful purchase new maps, right? So in the game, you can quite literally buy it with real world money, these map expansions. Now, one of my favorites is the O.R.C.A activity map. Wow, the O.R.C.A activities. Wonder what O.R.C.A gets up to. It sounds like one of those activity mats that you're given at the restaurant when you're a little kid, right? You like do a maze, you can color it in. It's got like some advertisements there that you can't read as a little kid because you're too little. You don't care about a towing service. But in case your parents are out of gas or have had an accident, they go, "Oh yeah, well, towing service right here, right?" While your kid's coloring the thing, right? And the O.R.C.A activity mat, right? It's an activity book. And then we have a hidden chest map. Well, that'll be good news for Naoe. And the Naoe activity map. We get up to Naoe activities, typical Naoe activities you see being launched across the map, perhaps. Perhaps. There you go. World activity map. That's right. We have a world activity map. So there you go. Just so you know, there's just lots to do in the Assassin's Creed Shadows game if you have enough money, real world money. But there's good news. You can pet the dog. And petting the dog.
will love you.
Shut up. Nobody wants to hear it. But if you pet the dog, they'll come home with you. I do not know if that means you could just steal somebody's dog. If you're just hanging out somewhere where you just like copy paste the dog. That's neat. So there's just a herd of Shiba. Okay. Anyway, who wouldn't want that, right? Who wouldn't just want to flood the Japanese countryside with these dogs? But the other good news here is that you get real time snow melting, and that's great. This is again sped up so you can see it because the melting effect is in real time because why not? Because that's what you want. You want real time snow melting in your Assassin's Creed game about reconstructed realities inside of a digital space, not real life. I don't know what the goal was with that, but they apparently really wanted to make a big deal about it. And speaking of big deals, Naoe and Eve have a completely different design philosophy behind them. And a commenter a few weeks ago that we featured in a video, she mentioned that Ubisoft apparently believes that Japanese women are aliens from outer space. And when you look at how the Koreans treated Eve and how the Canadians treated Naoe, boy howdy, it is pretty hard not to notice how alien Naoe looks here by comparison. So. And finally, though, we do have some pretty sage information here from Grim Hollywood. Pretty cool guy, pretty cool setup here. I like his paintball mask situation there, like a California Doctor Doom. Pretty cool, pretty cool. But he points out some pretty strange ideas about how ancient and even current Japanese behave. Hold it! It looks like 73% of you watching this aren't subscribed. Time to click that button. You know where to find it.
Excuse me while I contemplate this cherry tree.
Yeah. Excuse me while I contemplate this cherry tree, because I am Japanese.
Because people just contemplate trees and they just say that out loud. Like, yeah, I have contemplating to do. I'll see you later. I have to go stare at this tree and contemplate its greatness. Contemplate its tree-iness, because if I do not do this, I will never know how tree-y this tree is.
You know what I mean? They do that throughout this whole game and nobody's gonna pick up on it. Excuse me while I contemplate this cherry tree because I am very Japanese and that is what we do. Like, so stupid, dude.
That is what we do. Contemplate the trees.
They do that so much in this game, dude. It's like posturing that we're Japanese. And that's why the Japanese people are offended by this game. It just goes beyond the Yusuke stuff. It goes deep into the core of this game. Like, every fiber of this game is insulting. Like, they're...
Exactly. It's a conscious decision to go around having this terrible dialogue out of these characters. It's a conscious. I speak English, believe me. It's just listening to all this makes my brain melt. It is a deliberate decision. There we go. Now I'm not Porky Pigging it. So it's a deliberate decision by Ubisoft Canada to go out there and screw up this stuff. It's very simple to not have people contemplating trees, right? They could be standing there staring at it, but they could just say, I have meditation to return to. That sounds much more, I don't know, productive than a person saying, in not being crazy, right? You have to understand, while people poetically may have expressed this in writing, that they were contemplating a tree, but they are having a spiritual interaction with that rather than simply saying, excuse me, I need to go back to thinking about this tree. They're not going to express it in that manner person to person. They're simply going to talk about meditation person to person so they can get back to meditating. That is a much more natural conversation path surrounding this tree that must be contemplated. And that's what we're kind of getting into as we talk about this, that, oh yes, the Japanese are so strange. They're going to stand there and think about trees. And the problem is that, like, it seems like they read a bunch of haiku and then they were like, oh yeah, that's how they just one-to-one operate. There's absolutely no poetic enhancement done here. There's absolutely no simplicity of the message that's extracted here in this incredibly short format style of poetry. Of course not. Of course, we're absolutely getting the total summation of what the experience of contemplating a cherry blossom tree is all about, okay? And I get stuck on this one the most out of all the clips we watch because this is not a video game screwing up. This is not somebody trying to make an action scene out of some historical fetish that they have, okay? This is a deliberate decision, day to day, the operations, the dialogue, the writers, everybody who is in charge of making this game become the thing that it is. Like when you meet Pokemon characters on like Route 11 or whatever, they have things to tell you. Whether those things are useful to you or not, that's fine. But they're not standing there trying to tell you seriously that they are contemplating trees. You meet like a bug catcher and they say, I am complimenting the trees, and you get into a battle with them and they have the swirly eyes that demonstrates that they've gone crazy out there chasing bugs. Okay? That the Japanese do not communicate this way. They don't live this way. They're not just standing there contemplating a tree. Even in ancient times, that was not the case. Meditation, certainly, but nobody's sitting there like, hmm. Oh, me? I'm just contemplating this tree. Yeah. No, I'm not crazy. That's what people do around here. This is the tree contemplation zone. It's completely nuts. It's completely nuts, and I have no idea why they insisted on putting in so much cheesy, not even cheesy, just kind of like misinterpreted cultural attitudes about Japan. They claim to have taken a field trip there. You remember that? They were so proud of their little field trip that they took. Apparently, they never thought to ask anybody, hey, do you guys just stand around staring at trees? Did they observe a lot of that? Did you guys run into a lot of Japanese folks just staring at trees? And you were just like, they must be contemplating those, not having a mental breakdown or something. Obviously, this is just contemplation of the greatness of wood. Yeah, anyway, guys, you're going to have to let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. But as always, we're going to keep talking about this. We will be playing Yasuke Simulator probably in a couple of days here. I got to get my schedule cleared out, real life and all. We will be streaming that over here on the channel. You can come check it out and have fun with us while we check out all that Yasuke Simulator has to offer us. I hear there's giant crab battles in it and a motorcycle arena. So obviously historically accurate because giant crab battles and motocross were what ancient Japan was very well known for, not contemplating cherry trees. This is the timeline we live in, okay, everybody? This is the timeline we live in, all right? I'll see you down in the comments section below, but as always, guys, good luck out there.